politics. And political pluralism is not universally accepted in every society. It is our strong belief that these challenges are best addressed not in isolation, but through dialogue, knowledge sharing, and mutual cooperation across national boundaries. This is why the ICOP warmly welcomes the vision behind the APPI and wholeheartedly supports the direction of this summit. Since its founding in year 2000, the ICOP has sought to promote sustainable peace and shared prosperity in Asia through dialogue and cooperation among political parties of all ideologies. Today, we bring together over 330 political parties from 52 countries. Bodies such as the ICOP Business Council, the ICOP Cultural Center, ICOP Media Forum, and ICOP Women's Wing and Youth Wing. We have also worked to build international intercontinental bridges, establishing regular channels of dialogue with political parties beyond our region. Our long-standing partnership with the COPAR, Permanent Conference of Political Parties of Latin America and the Caribbean, which is now presented by His Excellency Alejandro Moreno, our long-standing partnership with the COPAR. And also, we have established contacts and have regular meetings with political party groups in the European Parliament. This is testament to our commitment to global collaboration. And today we look forward to establishing another important channel of dialogue with African political parties. And we hope to further advance is no longer a necessity. I am confident that this summit will provide an invaluable platform for exchanging diverse perspectives, building lasting partnerships, and crafting a shared vision for democratic progress across Africa. The ICOP stands ready to collaborate with African political parties to build the bridge. In closing, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to the National Democratic Congress of Ghana and the Africa Governance Center for their hard work in making this event a resounding success. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to yield the podium to Honorable Alejandro Moreno Cardina, who is, of course, here to bring our solidarity message from the Permanent Conference of Political Parties of Latin America and the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to yield the podium to Honorable Alejandro Moreno Cardina, who is, of course, here to bring our solidarity.
Muy buenos días. Saludo con mucho afecto y mucho respeto a la vicepresidenta Nana Yen Opoku de la República de Ghana. Muy buenos días. Mucho respeto a la vicepresidenta Nana Yen Opoku de la República de Ghana. Muy buenos días. Mucho respeto a la vicepresidenta de la República de Ghana.
Salutation auprès de son Excellence. Alors, cette réunion cherche à renforcer la collaboration intercontinentale pour le développement et la transformation économique en Afrique. D'abord, ici, nous comprenons clairement le rôle des partis politiques comme étant les gardiens de ce processus. Et il faut savoir que les citoyens vivent des situations difficiles. Alors, il est important d'établir ici la légitimité du pluralisme des partis politiques comme étant les gardiens, aider à trouver des solutions ainsi qu'atteindre des résultats avec les défis auxquels nous faisons face. Nous avons besoin d'établir un pacte avec les citoyens afin de trouver des solutions ainsi qu'atteindre des résultats avec les défis auxquels nous faisons face. Nous avons besoin d'établir un pacte avec les citoyens afin de trouver des solutions ainsi qu'atteindre des résultats avec les défis auxquels nous faisons face.
Co-govern through pluralistic and bipartisan arrangements in the interest of the nation, and we also look forward to a new situation where political parties would aim for higher commitments in the interest of the nation, and so that the nation can be on the right track. And from Latin America, and at this very place, I would like to commend President John, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for the work that he has been doing in his leadership position of this country, and we recognize in you a man who has devoted your life into public service and have excelled in all the areas where you have had to serve up to the current position of the head of state of Ghana. And it is necessary for us to acknowledge not only this initiative but the major progress, and have excelled in all the areas that the country is making. And thanks to your work and your dialogue system of political participation, and for it, and the dialogue is the most important element in politics, because it is said that additionally, I would also like to note the diagnosis of the politics on this continent. Africa is in a moment of historical inflation, and the continent is going through a deep socio-political transformation for an increasingly young population and an increasingly better informed population, which is also digitally connected, and it's important that this continent should be given an institutional assurance. It's necessary to have this dynamic continent needs the best of reforms to drive a transformation to higher levels, and especially to achieve development and progress for our continent. And this moment gives rise to expectations, and originally, after there were the immediate post-independent political parties seem to have reached their limit, and it is necessary to have fresh ideas, and we should seek to modernize Africa through transparency, inclusiveness, and significant participation. And political parties should not be to be detached from the populations. We should adopt policies that will drive Africa's search for development, to support, promote the young people and women, and who have a key role to play. It is necessary to mobilize their energies, not only for during elections and forgotten after victories have been achieved. Today, dear comrades, we should include in our political parties the youth, participation of the youth and the women, because they constitute the important elements, because we need to include everybody, and so that is a need to renew themselves vertical and become more horizontal, and should listen to the people and be well connected with them, because that is how we can remain close to them, and so that it is important to be concerned about the interests of the people, because to help because they have aspirations. The policies that is made from Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and the social media should really be of interest to us, and because through that we would be closer to the people and feel what they feel. And in these circumstances, call on the countries, developing countries, to step further on the accelerator, and so that this strengths, and so that we should be moving in tandem with the current situations, because the failure of political parties to act as the guardians of the public aspirations has left to a populist movement, and by leaders who really have no ideas about what their people need, but know how to exploit the needs of the masses, whereas they work for fragmentation, political fragmentation, and the destruction of political parties. And so we need to really establish the energy of political parties, as well as strengthen the political system. Today, whereas the very international system is going through difficulties. Africa is faced with twofold difficulties. Africa is going through a difficult international system, which is more transactional and ambiguous in the face of liberal democratic norms. And that is why this summit is very important. It's of fundamental importance, and we should, for driving this initiative, and we believe that the initiative will make Africa stronger. What is needed is to have a good knowledge of the political spaces, but we should also be watchful of populist ideas which can hide or mask itself as being leftist or right-wing, where to hide its own character, which seeks rather to destroy democracy, and which does not in any case serve the aspirations of the people. What needs to be done is to defend institutions and make them more citizen-oriented, and the function of political parties is to tell citizens how we are going to help them, and that is the most important thing, and it is important what is being done in Africa currently, and I would like to congratulate Nelson upon the Executive Director of the African Governance Center for this idea of the President of the Republic. We believe that the democratic processes in Ghana will be strengthened, and ultimately in the rest of Africa and other parts of the world. And I would like to end by saying that we need to drive the political renovation of Africa. The political parties are custodians of a public mandate, and as the drivers of national development, we need to strengthen the political parties with such initiatives in Africa. Africa engage in a similar debate, and that is a debate which we are forced to engage in from now. And I would like to share with you that in Latin America we are confronted with great challenges, and majority of the democratic transitions were incomplete because they were limited to elections, and they did not dare to go beyond that to accept peaceful changes in government, and because it's very dangerous and populist, because they want to sell to citizens unrealistic ideas, and that is the situation of charismatic leaders who try to consolidate the power in their hands to the point of choking their societies. And as is the case in my country, Mexico, where separation of powers has been eliminated in favor of an executive arm that controls everything. And when a political party controls the judicial power, the legislative and executive, you can imagine the dangers ahead, and we need to defend and protect the electoral bodies with organized crime, and many political and some other political parties also. And many political and some other political parties also have been known to have contact with terrorist organizations. And I would like to say that we have pursued the struggle in the defense of democracy and the nation, and in spite of the constant attacks waged and assault waged against us and our families. And I would like to tell all of you that this summit is fundamental, essential for the safety is happening in Colombia, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. This democratic backsliding should not be encouraged. Democracy should not equality, space, opportunity, growth, and development for all. And for this, what we would like is what you would like is for you to have a character and determination to have a character. Nobody will stop you from what you want to do. Nobody will stop you from what you want to do. This is the moment to drive the continent, to establish a continent over the entire continent, and over the entire continent. The political parties are the instruments, and the political parties are the instruments essential, and we need structural dialogue. We need structure Africa, Europe, Latin America, Europe, all the political Latin America should all the political parties should work harmony and thinking about harmony and harmony the institution of the public, particularly institution of public peace, and particularly supporting this initiative of political parties in Africa. We support this initiative of President John Dramani Mahama because women and the young people, and we politicians should have a vision for the present and the future, and we politicians are called to defend our people with character and resolve, and we should politician, unfortunately most politicals think about the next election, whereas a statesman thinks about the next generation. And politics has to be done differently in Africa, Europe, Latin America, and I am really pleased, and it is an honor to know this wonderful country, and we are with you, and from now we will fight for democracy, for justice, and for equality. And long live Ghana, and long live Africa.
Our keynote, please warmly welcome the Deputy Prime Minister of Ethiopia and Vice President of the Prosperity Party. Welcome, His Excellency Ibrahim Adam Farah.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of Ghana, Professor Johnny Nana, Your Excellency Carlos Manuel, President of Sao Tome and Principe, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Excellencies, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of the President of the Prosperity Party, His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, and the government and the people of Ethiopia, I extend our deepest sympathies and heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of Ghana on the passing of your heroes, including esteemed Ministers of Defense and Environment. We share in your grief during this difficult time and stand with you in solidarity. May their souls rest in eternal peace. It's a profound honor to address this African Political Party Summit in the vibrant city of Accra, Ghana, a beacon of democracy and stability in West Africa. I extend my sincere gratitude to our gracious hosts and organizers for convening this important initiative. The theme of our summit, From Politics to Prosperity, Strengthening Inter-Party Collaboration for Africa's Development and Economic Transformation, is a call to action, a recognition that the future of our continent depends on the choices we, as political leaders, make today. For a long time, politics in many of our countries has been driven by power struggles, short-term agendas, and rivals draining national energy. We must move beyond zero-sum thinking, seeing political parties not as ends in themselves, but as instruments for inclusive, prosperous, and peaceful nations. In Ethiopia, this shift has been central to our political reform. The Prosperity Party was not born merely as a merger of organizations. It was the conscious choice to replace narrow identity politics with a unifying multinational vision. We anchored that vision in Meddemer, loosely translated as synergy, our guiding principle articulated by His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, President of the Prosperity Party and Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Meddemer represents our journey toward holistic prosperity, built through unity, mutual contribution, and a collective purpose. This is not just rhetoric. Ethiopia's constitution and electoral mandate give the Prosperity Party the right to fill 100% of executive positions. Yet, in the interests of national unity and democratic consolidation, we have chosen a different path. We have included leaders from opposition parties in the government, assigning 4 ministers and 3 state ministers from the opposition parties, and involving them in the government's process at all administrative levels. We did this not because it was easy, but because it was right, because inclusion builds national consensus, and national consensus builds unity, stability, and sustainable development. Beyond this, Ethiopia has established the Political Parties Joint Council, bringing together all legally registered political parties, ruling and opposition alike, into a permanent platform for dialogue, consultation, and consensus building. It has been instrumental in fostering mutual understanding, diffusing tensions, and keeping the national interests above partisan divides. To ensure inclusivity, we have placed women's empowerment at the heart of our national agenda, not as a symbolic gesture, but as a driver of national transformation. Ethiopia's federal cabinet is now 50% women, with women leading key democratic institutions, the judiciary, and the electoral board. For us, gender parity is a non-negotiable principle of governance. Similarly, youth political participation is vital for a country's long-term development, as it brings fresh perspectives, innovative ideas, and a deeper understanding of the needs of a large demographic, ensuring policies reflect the whole population. Involving youth in leadership builds inclusivity and resilience. Ethiopia exemplifies this with 49% of leadership positions across all administrative tiers held by young people, showcasing a strong commitment and strategic investment in the nation's future. Our guiding vision has also allowed us to institutionalize policy continuity beyond political cycles. We have prioritized homegrown reforms to achieve sustainable development and absolute sovereignty. Our flagship agenda, From Dependency to Productivity, aims to free millions from aid dependence and unlock the productive potential of our people. But vision alone is not enough. Consensus is critical in a diverse society like Ethiopia. Our government has taken significant steps to foster a genuine, inclusive national dialogue, working tirelessly to bridge historical divides and build a common understanding of our nation's challenges and opportunities. Our conviction is simple. Prosperity that is not shared is neither sustainable nor just. That is why we have worked to ensure that every citizen. We have increased access to education and healthcare, launched development programs to harness untapped potential across all sectors, and implemented urban corridor development to create integrated and efficient urban connectivity while promoting economic growth. Additionally, we have designed and executed targeted homegrown social protection programs for the most vulnerable members of our community. Through the Green Legacy Initiative, we have planted over 48 billion trees, an achievement that carries economic, environmental, and symbolic weight. The lessons we have drawn are not uniquely Ethiopian. They are African lessons. We must move beyond personality-driven politics to build strong, value-based institutions. We must collaborate with rivals when the national interest demands it. And we must measure our political success not by electoral victories, but the tangible improvements we deliver to our citizens' lives. To this end, we African political parties must focus on three strategic imperatives. First, promote continuous inter-party dialogue by institutionalizing platforms where ruling and opposition parties work together on peace, security, and economic reform proactively, not only in crisis. Second, champion a genuine youth agenda, ensuring access to education, entrepreneurship, and political participation, making politics a space young people can shape. Third, lead the green and digital transition, leapfrogging traditional development paths by harnessing technology, renewable energy, and innovation to build competitive, sustainable economies. I am optimistic about Africa's future because a new generation of leaders and citizens refuse mediocrity. They demand integrity, inclusivity, and results. By strengthening political parties with vision, principled leadership, and a commitment to inclusive development, we can exceed these expectations. The real question is whether we, as leaders, have the courage to put collective progress above narrow interests and commit to politics that unites rather than divides. History will remember not our titles, but whether we left nations stronger, societies fairer, and our continent more confident. Let us choose dialogue over division, inclusion over exclusion, and partnership over rivalry. Because if we can do that, from politics to prosperity will not just be the theme of a summit, it will be the lived reality of our people. I thank you.
Your Excellency, we thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on March 7, 2025, in Accra, President John Dramani Mahama launched the Africa Political Parties Initiative, calling for unity and cross-party collaboration toward a prosperous, integrated, and peaceful Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the road to this very moment, which we now know is the African Political Party Summit.
Is the crisis of political leadership. While democracy has expanded across the continent over the past 3 decades, governance has not necessarily been strengthened.
Across Africa, the winds of change are rising. Our people are demanding more integrity, more inclusion, more leadership. In recent years, the continent has faced deep political unrest. Among them are military takeovers, broken promises, lost trust. But in every crisis lies an opportunity. Our reformers, youth visionaries, and governance experts from across the continent. Taking place in Accra, Ghana, the summit is a turning point. Not just another meeting, but a continental movement. We'll tackle